What? Oh, fantastic. Yo. Haha. Head out. Ha. All right. So, you can't see me. I don't know if you guys can hear me. And hopefully, things are. Oh, I see. I see. Boom. Oh, that's fire. That's kind of cool. All right, let's see if I can manage this. I'm at the control station, and I'm gonna go over to the other side, and maybe this might be a thing that works. Um, yes. Let us see. All right. One second. Just figuring out to do. All right. Okay. This thing's gonna be live. Oh, there I am. Okay. I don't know how much of this. I can't really see myself. I can see my hands, and there might be a little bit of a delay that I experience, but new things for Granville. Cool, dope. All right. So sorry for the short delay. Um, this is day 24 and 25 that I'm going to go over. Um, let's see. So day 24, the first part of it. I know you guys are like up there, but look, this is the low budget version of this. Day 24, it just deals in dynamics, crescendo, decrescendo, going for piano to mezzo forte to back down to mezzo forte down to piano, and it has it in two instances. It sets it up as um, 16th notes, and then it has 16th note triplets, which is pretty cool. Let me put these ears in so I get all the benefit of this. And hopefully you can hear me in this. Comment if you can't hear me. I mean, I'm not going to see the comment because I don't have a screen here. I'm kind of flying blind a little bit. I have no control person, so there's that. But hopefully, you can hear my voice. I think there's a mic in the room. So dope. So this is at it starts at 75 beats per minute. The hard part for me for this is that it is 75 beats per minute, and that's kind of slow for. I mean, 75 is. So it's a little challenging for me as far as like crescendo, decrescendo. But first, before I do that, let me talk about um, the levels that you should be. So we did the full stroke, full stroke, upstroke, upstroke, upstroke being kind of from a low position going up, that kind of vibe. So um, one way to try to approach doing crescendos and decrescendos is just picking levels for for your hands to be. So for pianissimo, perhaps your sticks are, you know, I don't know, what is this, like a quarter of an inch, half an inch from the head, and so when you do your strokes, if you're striking from here, you're not going to get a whole lot of volume. Pianist, you have to be careful about. I don't want to say it's relative, but just be careful about, like, the levels that you do choose, because even for pianissimo, consider that you could possibly be softer than that. That there is a softer volume than that. So you're not trying to go to your softest volume, but you're trying to be soft. And I'll turn this thing on so you can hear it after the. Now the cool thing about this, you're not just gonna get the example. I'm gonna chat. So this is your pianissimo volume. So this is where you start out. By the time you get to the next measure, so you're basically starting here, that volume for the first beat, it's going to crescendo into the next, the next volume marker, or I'm not, dynamic level. There we go. Mezzo forte. Mezzo forte, I'd say, is maybe like about an inch and a half, 2 inches from the head. So again, pianissimo is down here. This is 75 beats per minute. Mezzo forte is a little bit up here. Right? And then you have forte, which is maybe about here. Right? So now the trick becomes, getting from that piano sound to the mezzo forte sound to the forte sound, and trying to control those three levels. I will not say that I am an expert at this. A lot of times, when dealing with crescendos musically, I usually have more of an advantage. But when I'm dealing with them in practice, I feel like I'm always constantly wrestling with them, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's practice. It's what it is. And if you're mindful of it, then when you approach music and when you get involved with music, it can sound a lot better. But I, by no ways, say that I'm an expert at executing this. So bear with me. I'm going to do my best to try to give you an idea. So I'm going to try to go from pianissimo to mezzo forte to forte, and I'll stop there. So I'll do 4 beats. Piano to mezzo forte, then 4 beats, mezzo forte to forte. So I won't really play forte, I'm just going to hit it. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, and. So that was kind of my rise to that. I'll do it again. 3, and. Forte. Now you have to get from forte back down to mezzo forte, back down to pianissimo. So up here, right? Okay, I already jacked that up. See, I already have super problems dealing with that. But again, if you try to do it in levels, you can try to. So I'll do this in real time. This is how I practice something like this. I'm gonna try to go from forte to mezzo forte. 4 beats. 1, 2, 3. have gone too low. I'm gonna try it again. That was a little bit better, you know. A little better. That was alright. Let's try it. 1, 2, 3, and. Alright. You know, it's a challenge. I'll try it one more time. 40 to mezzo forte. Try not to talk this time. Here we go. Alright, that was pretty decent. Yeah, it was alright. So now mezzo forte is where I'm here, and I'm going from mezzo forte down to piano. Right? I've chosen this as mezzo forte, chosen that as piano. Here we go. That was alright. That was okay. Ah, a little too loud. Alright. One more time. That's better. Cause that so alright. And that's something I should talk about too. Because when I'm going from mezzo forte, the midpoints of these, or the end points of these, is you have your pianissimo, you have your fortes in the middle, and then here you have pianissimo again. And you're not really playing a whole lot of pianissimo here necessarily, so it's interesting. I'm gonna try it again. 16 notes. 1, 2, 3. I'm actually gonna try the whole thing. Go from pianissimo to mezzo forte to forte to mezzo forte to pianissimo. So each 1, 2, 3, 4 mezzo forte 1, 2, 3, 4 forte 1, 2, 3, 4 mezzo forte 1, 2, 3, 4, and by the time I get to 4, I should be at pianissimo. And again, I'm starting at pianissimo at the beginning. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, and. That was alright. I stamped the forte, and I really should not have. I hit an accent there. It's supposed to be more of a wave. 1, let's try again. 3, and. That was a little better. It was a little better. So yeah, it's supposed to be more of a wave. I'm trying my best not to accent anything in between there. For me, going at this pace is a little harder than trying to play a lot of notes and, you know, rise into this, you know, kind of growling, you know, kind of sound. And I think that's how I use crescendos a lot nowadays. I don't know. And I'm sure that I use it in between as small intervals of dynamic change. You know, maybe when I'm changing from like a chorus to a verse, I'm shifting, you know, doing hard shifts. But as far as like crescendoing and decrescendoing, a little bit of a challenge. If I did more orchestral work, it might be easier. Well, let's try it. It's a good thing to practice. 1, 2, 3, and. That was alright. I didn't feel great about the decrescendo. Let's try it again. And. That was a little bit better. If you have any comments about tips for doing crescendos and decrescendos, definitely throw them in the comments here. I'm sure they'll be super helpful to the community of drummers who are trying to handle this. So now I'm going to shift into the 16th note triplets. Again, this is like, this is fundamental stuff. It's really great. You're going to use it a lot differently when you're playing, when you're playing music. So, yeah. So now our subdivision is this might be a subdivision that I'm more comfortable with. So let's see how well I do at this faster interval. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I came down a little bit too fast, but it felt better. It was easier for me to have more notes in between to do that. We'll try it one more time. Here we go. Yeah, a lot easier for me to achieve. I mean, I don't know how great that sounded, but it felt great for me. So, yeah. I'll do it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 16 note triplets. 1, 2, 3, here we go. Yeah, that felt a little bit better. I went wild some places I didn't like, but a lot better feel. So that's it. That's crescendoing and decrescendoing. So that's the hands part of Dave 24, right? So that's something you could literally spend all day working on. I definitely suggest with all of these exercises every single day, try to take the day and spend with each of these exercises because, yeah, I mean, it's so easy to. My mom's calling. Hi, Mom. My mom always calls when I'm doing something important. And now the world knows that. Okay. I'll call her back. Um, so, uh, so that's yeah, with all these exercises, you can work on these things. You should work on these things and try to find time to work on them all day. Even if it's something like this, which is seemingly very easy to do, you definitely want to spend time on it and kind of use your imagination with it, even if it feels like it's boring. There's something about attacking technique that's that just works well. All right, so I'm gonna bump up. We were at 75. I'm gonna bump up to 82 for this next part. These are the minimum requirements. So even that exercise I just did. I should do it faster, which is probably going to be easier for me to do it faster, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Just working, just kind of doing crescendo things on different surfaces. That's another thing you could do. We did on the snare drum. You could do it on any drum. You do it on any surface. I mean, who needs more cowbell? Anyway, so. The feed part of this, is actually just exchanging. So you're doing exchange right hands and left hands with the right foot, which is sometimes a hard thing to get together. Once you get it together, though, it is really great to do and a lot of fun. So this is doing it at 16 notes. So we have 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. The first exercise is just the right hand. So the right hand is playing 8 notes. And the right foot is playing the 8 notes in between that, or rather the 16th notes in between that. This is playing 16th notes, right? So here we go. However you choose to see it. But it's 8 note intervals here too, So 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Still 8 notes, it's just in between the other, after the 15. Alright, so we'll try it. chill to do. Um, it's more so the progression of the exercises that you'll see. Because the next one starts with the foot, and it's the same kind of interval. Let's see if I can do it. Oh yeah, I got it. Here we go. Three. Yeah. So that's pretty much what's going on. 82, right? Does the same thing with the left. This might be harder with me and my right and my hi-hat foot. We'll see. 1, 2, 3, and. That was interesting. A little flamming between the hand and the hi-hat. We'll try that again. 1, 2, 3, and. Yeah. So I'm paying attention to all those things. Like all these things are, giving me information about, how to approach this. Cool. And then the same thing, starting with the bass drum, and then the left hand's coming after. So bass, left, exchange. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. Cool. Now I'm gonna turn the metronome off for a second. This is actually pretty cool because, a lot of times, you see things like drummers doing. And getting it very clean. A lot of that starts at the very slow tempo. Getting all those things together and making sure to line that up. I'm not going to do a whole bunch of. But I would love to. But that's, again, something I can work on. And then also seeing how long I can do it. Like seeing how long I can hold it. It's not totally perfect, but it's something that, is good. I can work on it. It's probably something I can do in the moment that, I don't really think about. But once you have these things locked in your, actual time, it just makes it better. It's cool. All right, so that's day 24. That's pretty cool. Pretty simple. Day 25, and again, you shouldn't rush. But these are similar, so I don't feel as bad about doing them both together. Day 25 really just starts with the same idea of, especially with the hands, doing the dynamics, but now you're just going from loud to soft to loud. You could spend one day on each of these. Honestly, I could spend every day working on this same exercise as just a warm-up or practice because dynamics are a lot of times the most significant thing in drumming. There are a lot of, artists that in the times before when I went to shows, there are a lot of young players that I see that are fantastic. They've got a lot of chops and things like that, but when they get to the verse of the song, I can't hear the singer because they're still playing the same volume they were playing in the chorus. So dynamics are so important. All right, so if the whole song's loud, anyway. So this is at 80, which is cool. It's a little bit faster. They probably got that 75 was a little hard to handle this, but you're starting loud, and it goes like this. That could have sounded terrible, and I felt great about it. We'll see on the video. I didn't like that one. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and. I didn't like that at all. Here we go. 1, 2, starting loud, 3, and. Little better with the dynamics, not as great with the evenness of the strokes. So these are all factors that you're looking at, while you're trying to do this thing. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. One more time. A little bit better. But yeah, that's definitely something I can work on. I can take it faster or slower. In my case, I should always go slower, but I'm going to do it faster just so that you can hear what that sounds like. 1, this is 120. 2, 1, 2. Is that better? 1, 2, 3, 4. Something like that. So that's that. I'm only going shorter on this because, not spending as much time because I talked a lot on the last one. So you're good. And then it goes from that hand warm up. So you're doing basically the dynamics in reverse. But then for the set warm up, you're doing some movement, which is super cool. It's basically the same idea. But now, as opposed to just going on the snare, we're going. But I think the exchanges are actually just in one direction. But that's what's in the book. You can do whatever you want. You can go, or just do whatever it is that comes to your mind to do. So let's do this really quickly. I'm going to do it with the right hand. I'll do it with the left hand, and then, yeah. So it's at 98, which is pretty reasonable. 1, 2, 3, and. That's not the exercise, it goes around. Again, this is not in the exercise, but adding it is cool. Good for your independence, good for practice, and then taking it out when you don't need it like this. Right? It doesn't do what the previous day did for day 24. Day 24 started with the bass drum after, so if this is your metronome, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, let's try it again. I want to get this independence right, this hi-hat. I mean, you can again, you can do whatever combination you want to do. You know, whatever you want to do. Same thing with the left hand. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ah, that's a little harder. 1, 2, 3, and ah. That's a great thing for me to practice now because it's something I usually don't do because the left hand I don't usually. Yeah, I mean this motion. I mean it's cool if I'm doing rolls, but it's usually following my right hand. But so I'm gonna do it one more time. I'm gonna do it 2 more times. Once without the hi hat, and then I'll try to add the hi hat back in. You know. I have a pocket with that, so I'm going to try to do it the hi hat. 1, 2, 3, and. Yeah, so sometimes it's just that, kind of finding out where the brain disconnect is, separating it, and then putting it back together. And, all good for practice. That's the point of this whole thing. So, and then the other combination, let's see if I can do that. Simple concept of just exchanging single strokes, there's so much to work on. There's dynamics to work on. There's targeting to work on. Hitting in the middle of the drum. There's like so many different things that you can work on. So you could even revisit these days as many times as you like. And that's pretty much that. That's day 25. So, I mean, I'll experiment some more with some other things, and hopefully you'll experiment with some things. If you think of something that would be cool to do with these 2 days, this exchange that's super interesting, please write it in the comments. Hit me up on Patreon, and I'll be trying to experiment with all this stuff. I have a whole bunch of video that I have to load up to. Everybody calls when I'm working because they love to call me. I love you guys too. But yeah, there's a ton of stuff to work on. So I'm gonna start walking to this thing. But yeah, my voice might sound distant for a moment. Ha ha. Yeah, there's a ton of stuff to work on with all these things. This is a dope thing. Thank you guys if you came through. It was a lot of fun for me. And hopefully this will stay up so that you can review it whenever you want to. Oh, I can switch cameras. You can see my messy space. Yeah, hopefully you guys can review this stuff whenever you want to later. And thanks for checking this out, whether you checked it out now or later. Again, throw some things in the comments or just hit me up.